horse hoof care, horse diseases, what hoof injuries can kill horses. I was asked that question by a subscriber. I made a comment on one of my videos and I started to reply in writing and realised it was impossible. It would have taken me, it's half a book, hoof care. So I thought what I'll do is I'll make a video about hoof care. The questions revolve around how often should you clean them, what can happen if you leave manure in the hoof. Thought, where do I start? Because where I live, very arid country, very sandy, such poor soil it rejects water. What that means is when we come out of winter, the moisture is sucked right out of the horse's hooves, so you need to moisturise them regularly. The boy's got his moisturiser on right now. So I guess it's so difficult a topic to cover. Let me just say, I'm very lucky that I have got a lot of the Australian light horse manuals from around the time of the First World War, 1914-18, through to the start of the Second World War. They tell you how to look after a horse. So when people argue, have differing views, I always think, I'm doing what the light horse did, looking after their horses in war and between the wars. But not only that, I was very lucky. I was a cop for a long time, and I got to serve for a short period on the mounted cadre, the horses of the police horses. So I have first-hand knowledge of how those police horses were looked after and what I had to do. So basically, you do a horse's foot every day, at least once a day, and then possibly again if you're going to ride in the afternoon and you did the horse's foot in the morning, you would just check the foot with a hoof pick to clean out the hooves. We're going to have a look at the hoof in a minute. We'll see how that, who knows how that's going to work. So, clean out the hoof. Now I say clean out the hoof once a day, but then you've got to remember, well, different countries. You've got snow, you've got horses kept in stalls, they stand on straw. So these boys, they are out in open paddocks. They're in tiny paddocks overnight when we don't want them eating a lot of food, but they're never in stalls. So we refer to the police when the horses are in stalls, like a lot of people in North America and Europe have to do during the snow. They keep their horses inside in stalls. You should change the straw every day. That's not what they eat, it's what they lie on, stand on, sleep on. Got to change that every day. The horses should come out of the stall. The stall should be scraped clean of all straw. Should have a chance for that to dry. And then you put fresh straw in. Yes, you can recycle some of that old straw, get rid of the really shitty stuff and keep the good stuff. Horses shouldn't be made to stand in their own wee and poo. Should be cleaned out regularly. Now, can standing in poo cause a disease in a horse's hoof? Well, I'll show you in a minute, but technically, no, because the hoof is sealed. So it's like your fingernail. Healthy, clean fingernail. Stick it in your own poo. You're not going to get a disease from that. You're going to have nothing happen to you from that. Yes, you better wash your hands. You wouldn't want to pick your teeth. The same with a horse. Stands in its own poo. Nothing's going to happen to that healthy hoof. But the trouble is, there are some crevices in a horse's hoof, and you know from your own armpits, if you get hot and sweaty, you stink. That is the bacteria that's dead and decaying in your perspiration. And that's the same thing. With a horse's hoof, you do not want that manure in the natural crevice of a horse's hoof that can then breed bacteria, because when I mentioned earlier the moisture being sucked out of our horses' hooves, that causes cracking. That's why I put moisturiser on the hooves. So when you get cracking, you then don't want any sort of bacteria getting into those cracks. Seedy toe is just one disease, but you can get all these horrible fungus diseases, just like if you're in a gym in a dodgy suburb, you wouldn't want to go in the communal showers without wearing thongs, would you? Because you're going to get some toe jammed toe disease. Okay, so basically that is very, very general story about horses' hoofs. Don't let them stand in weed, don't let them stand in poo. Clean their hooves at least once a day. Don't let them stand in poo in the stalls. What we're going to try and do now, something we've not done before, is I'm going to try and show you Cody's hoof. Excuse me, it's just scratching one of those, a lot of flies. I'm going to try and show you Cody's hoof and we'll see how we go. We've not done this before, have we, mate? So we're going to give this a whirl. We're going to put that there. Now if something gets chopped out here, this will be where I come over to the tripod, take the camera off and we'll do it. So we'll see how we go. So he's a good lad standing there while I come and naff around. So what we're going to do, we're going to come up to this foot because there's a couple of things I want to show you on this hoof. So pick your foot up for me, mate. Pick it up for me. Your horses should pick their feet up themselves for you. So it's a bit difficult trying to hold the camera and show you this, but you can see these grooves here. You should clean those grooves out. Make sure they're nice and clean. And what I do is when I clean these grooves out, this hoof's all nice and clean, I have a good sniff of it, a good smell of it, because the first sign of something amiss is you will smell something. So now what I'm hoping to show you, around the front here, you'll see this is a bit of a hole. So he had a bit of a chip, a bit of a hole here, and dug it out till we're into white flesh. And when you get into that white flesh, then you know everything's okay. If you see black, if it's stinky, that could be seedy toe fungus. So we dig it out, then we put a farrier's sort of soft fiberglass packet right in there. Hold up, mate, it's okay, we haven't quite finished. I know we haven't done this before. And we pack that in there, but the same, when I clean it out, have a big sniff, and if there's no smell, then you know everything's okay. So really that's the thing, you want to keep those feet clean. As I say, I live in a very sandy country, so I don't have shoes, they're barefoot, these horses, and I just keep the feet nice and clean. They would have their feet checked every day and moisturised. So you'll see now I've got some moisturiser on my hand there, but he's done a good job. I think, what else do I need to tell you? So there you go, we finished the video on hoof care. We'll wrap that up, and thanks for being a good lad.